Graduation season is in full swing with the hope of promising careers ahead. A new report by Tallo, which helps recent graduates navigate their career paths, shows connecting to those dream jobs can be difficult. Joining us for tonight's interview is education expert and Tallo CEO Allison Danielsen. Allison, thank you for being here. You did a survey of 2,000 people who are in this range. What surprised you from that survey?
There was really a lot of surprising things that came out of it, and so I would encourage anybody who's interested to go to tallo.com and download the report, but two things stuck out to me. One is that 62% of young people who completed their education are not in their intended career. But even more alarming is that 43% of people feel isolated and don't know where to go for support in this process. And that's really striking in a world where we're more connected than we ever have been. There's more information available than you could imagine, and yet people feel really alone.
Let me get to the 62 first. They're not in their intended field. Could that be a problem of expectations? In other words, I'm going to get my dream job right away. Is it that, or is there a mismatch between graduates and jobs?
I think that's a great question. So I think there's a little bit of both. First, I would say there's a big resource gap here, and that's what we found. And so we need to make sure that we're setting the right expectations with young people, and they understand that this is going to be a progressive path for them. Where they start is not going to be where they finish. I think most of us have learned that throughout our careers. But I do think many people are expecting to start in a career pathway, and they're not even starting in a job aligned to that. So maybe a young person expects to be a CEO, and we know that's unrealistic. But if they went and studied business, they should be able to get a job as an operations coordinator, and they're not even able to do that.
The 43% figure they're feeling isolated. Is that college students who aren't going to their college guidance counselors, or is it people who've graduated, or is it just everybody?
It's actually everybody. We're seeing this across all of the categories. And it's really concerning. You know, I have an 18-year-old in my life who I know well, and she's texting me in the middle of the night, panicked about what she's supposed to do with her life, and I think she's really not alone.
Well, let's help her out. What mindset should she and others have who are in this age range?
I think they really need to understand that while these decisions are important at 17 and 18, they aren't the only time that you're going to figure out what you want to do with your life. There is not one shot at education, and in fact, we are in a moment where lifelong learning is the expectation. We're not going to start building skills in college and end building skills in college. We're going to do this throughout. And in fact, the way that technology is changing with AI, we know the workforce is evolving very quickly, and they should have that kind of growth mindset and flexible mindset and put less pressure on themselves to make the decision for their entire lives at that moment.
I like that. Companies, what can they do to help out with these feelings that people have and to make these matches?
That's what we think is so important at Tallo. We're building a digital career co-pilot that connects employers to young people, and we think that conversation matters because employers know what skills are necessary. And so if people are getting education and it's not leading to jobs, maybe they're not in the right pathway. And employers know what training they actually need, and so we'd encourage employers to get involved earlier in the process. Have a conversation with high school students about what the expectations actually look like. Highlight the programs that they think are actually going to help build the skills that are necessary for the work tomorrow.
15 seconds left. Where should people not go for information?
They shouldn't go to TikTok and social media, and they shouldn't go to their friend who also doesn't have the right information. I think that's where we're trying to create these safe, trusted spaces, and we know we're not going to do it alone, but people need the right information.